And with the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select not who you think. What up, what up? Welcome to the Hot Button. And today we're talking Jacksonville Jaguars. One of the all-time greats, Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer, as you know, made his return to Florida, but it wasn't the Gators. He went to Jacksonville, not Gainesville, and is now coaching what some may consider the worst team in football. I don't. I think the Jets are the worst team in football. I actually think the Jaguars have a little talent. I think they got something to work with. But they have the first pick of the 2021 draft. And there are some sports pundits and some so-called experts who believe that this first pick is in a bag already. And a lot of people think that they know what they should do with the first pick. Obviously, they're an organization. They're an NFL organization. They have been so for a while. They know what they're doing. They just haven't been able to produce the results on the field. I personally don't believe that there is a such thing as a team in the NFL who doesn't have talent. All these teams have talent. It all falls down to leadership, organization, and also being able to plug in the right players to fit the right scheme. And if you ask me who's better, the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Jets, I am picking the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars have a better team. I obviously now think they have a better coach, better coordinators. I think Charlie Strong is going to mesh well with Urban Meyer there down in Jacksonville. But the question is, what do they do with the first pick of the draft? That is a loaded question because the Jaguars do have a few needs. Let's run through their needs. What are their needs? Well, they need a wide receiver. The Jacksonville Jaguars receiving squad did not have a good season. In fact, DJ Clark, their leading receiver, their top guy, only brought in 700 yards. He only brought in 700 yards. Him and Gardner were not able, him and that quarterback were not able, Minshew the second, were not able to make things work as the fan base probably thought they should or could. Not only do they need a wide receiver, a deep threat, but they also need some cornerback play, some defensive backs. That secondary is awful. The secondary in general it really needs an upgrade. Ever since they lost AJ and Jalen Ramsey, it has definitely struggled. It has definitely struggled. They need another starter to go alongside Gerard Wilson, and it could be argued that he needs to leave as well. They need to replace him as well. But anyway, they need a safety. They need a cornerback. They need defensive play. They also need to tighten up that defensive line. They need to tighten up that defensive line. In fact, the Jaguars defense finished 31st overall, dead last, and basically dead last, and 30th in rushing. They need a defensive lineman. They need someone who could, get after the quarterback, and they need someone who can help them out in stopping the run. Not only do they need defensive line help, just defense in general, not only do they need a deep threat, but they also need a tight end. They need a good blocking tight end because their offensive line is struggling, but they need a tight end. And there are some okay tight ends that they could probably grab in this draft, but certainly not going to use their first pick on that. They also need offensive line play. They need a left tackle. The free agent market is not that sexy for left tackles right now. Right now they have Cam Robinson. Is set to, be a free agent, and who knows if he's going to come back or not. But they need an offensive lineman. They need offensive lineman play. They need a cornerback or a safety. They need a defensive lineman. There are some things that they need. They're not a bad team, but there are some pressing needs that they must address in this offseason, specifically through the draft. But chief of all of these things is their need for a quarterback. I don't care who you have on defense. I don't care. You can have the greatest blocking in the world. But if you do not have a franchise quarterback, you have a very short ceiling in the NFL. Very short ceiling. The days of Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer, no disrespect, are over. It's finished. Finito. You need a game changer at the quarterback position. And everybody's talking about Trevor Lawrence. And I want to tell Jacksonville Jaguar fans, organization, just football fans in general, when we're thinking about the first pick of the draft and the Jacksonville Jaguars and what Urban Meyer is going to do, I believe that we are asking all the wrong questions. And I believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars right now may be asking themselves questions, but they're asking the wrong questions. There's only one question that they should be asking right now. Here's that question. Whose ceiling is higher? Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun Watson? That's the question. Because right now you could pick Trevor Lawrence with the first pick of the NFL draft, or you can trade, and you have the assets, probably more than anybody besides the Jets. You have the assets to trade for Deshaun Watson. Now, to me, this question is a tad disrespectful, but people will actually engage in this conversation. And some would pick the other side. But it's not even close. It's Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is one of the only plug-and-play quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't care where you put him. I don't care what offense you put him in. He is going to be Deshaun Watson. And even Deshaun Watson had to go through some growing pains. Imagine the growing pains that the other Clemson alum, Trevor Lawrence, is going to have to go through in the NFL. Yes, Trevor Lawrence checks with the size. He has big hands, got that big head. He's 6'6", 220 plus pounds, has a cannon. But I don't think he has a higher ceiling than Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is going to win the MVP one day. Deshaun Watson is going to be playing in the Super Bowl one day. Deshaun Watson has special. The truth is the jury is still out on Trevor Lawrence. And the probability of a first-round bust as a quarterback popping up, you drafting a bust, pretty high. So if you have the opportunity to actually get a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, you make that move. You pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. If the Jacksonville Jaguars want to win within the next 3 years, be in playoff contention, go deep in the playoffs, there's no question about it. You get Deshaun Watson. He's a culture changer. He's a game changer. He can arguably be the face of the league here soon. And you're the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're perennial losers. You can bring a big name. You can put butts in the seats, and you get a big arm and a guy who has some legs. And he's proven now. And you put him along with Urban Meyer, who was the college quarterback whisperer. And now you can put him with Urban Meyer and Deshaun Watson. Look out. You can make some noise. So with the first pick of the NFL draft, I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars should make that pick. I think they should trade their first 2 picks. They have 2 picks in the first round. Then they should trade those 2 picks and possibly their second-round pick. We have the first and the 25th pick in the first round, and trade their second-round pick for Deshaun Watson. He's worth it, and then some. And if you have to package a player to send them, I don't know who the heck on the Jacksonville roster is worth shipping out in return for Deshaun Watson. But when you add 2 first-round picks, you could. There might be a need that you could address for the Houston Texans. But you ship him off. Jacksonville Jaguars get their quarterback. It's not Trevor Lawrence. It is Deshaun Watson. Pull the trigger. Make the deal.